A mother was not financing an iPhone. She was financing milk. It is 10:30 on a Thursday night. Sarah opens Walmart Plus on her phone. There is nothing fancy in the cart. Milk, eggs, cereal, diapers, toilet paper, and chicken breast. The checkout says $212. Her banking app says $60. Payday is not until Monday. Then, right under the total, a softer number appears. Pay in 4. Only $53 today. No interest. In that moment, Sarah does not see debt. She sees a way for her child to have milk before Monday. One tap to save tonight's dinner. But here is the question the app does not ask for her. What happens when the food is gone before the debt is gone? This is where the trap begins. If Sarah used Pay in 4 to buy sneakers, that would still be worth talking about. But at least it would still live in the world of shopping. Milk, diapers, eggs, and laundry detergent are not rewards. They are the cost of getting through the week. This is the Grocery Installment Trap. Underneath it is something even deeper: survival debt normalization. That is what happens when debt starts to feel normal, because it is wrapped around things too normal to question. Buy now, pay later used to be sold as a way to split up big purchases. But when that button sits under a grocery cart, it is no longer helping you buy something you want. It is helping you buy what you need to live. And the data says Sarah is not alone. If this were just one Reddit story, you could dismiss it as a rare moment of desperation. But buy now, pay later, or BNPL, has become a tens of billions of dollars machine inside American consumer life. According to the research, the BNPL market in the United States was estimated at around $70 billion in 2025. In 2023, 6 major companies processed more than 335 million loans. The chilling part is not just the size of the machine. It is the average loan size, about $135. $135 does not sound like a financial crisis. It sounds like a Walmart run, an Instacart order: diapers, milk, eggs, and chicken for the week. LendingTree reported in 2026 that 47% of BNPL users said they had paid late in the past year, up from 41% the year before. A large debt scares you. A small debt makes you click. And that small number is dangerous because it changes the question in your head. It does not make the item cheaper. It makes the question smaller. The number $53 is where the trap gets dangerous. Sarah does not see $212 of debt. She sees a smaller question. Can I pay $53 today? With $60 in her bank account, the answer is yes. And once the answer is yes, her brain is allowed to exhale. This is the affordability illusion. The item is not cheaper. The first moment of pain has just been cut into a smaller piece. One face ID tap, one no interest line, and tonight's dinner looks solved. That does not mean Sarah cannot do math. She knows 53 times 4 is still 212. But she is not sitting in a personal finance class. She is lying in bed with an empty fridge and payday still a few days away. BNPL is not selling her alone. It is selling her the feeling of more time. But groceries do not last as long as the debt attached to them. That is what makes groceries different from sneakers or a television. If you finance a pair of shoes, 6 weeks later the shoes are still in the closet. If you finance a television, it is still hanging on the wall. Groceries are different. The milk gets poured. The eggs become breakfast. The chicken becomes dinner. The diapers get used and thrown away. The toilet paper disappears in the most literal way possible. But 2 weeks later, the app comes back politely. Your next payment is due. This is the depreciation paradox. What you bought disappears faster than your obligation to pay for it. You cannot look at an empty fridge and say, I bought food last month, so we can skip eating this month. By the third payment, the child finished that milk a long time ago. The chicken became dinner 2 weeks ago. But Sarah still has to pay for it, right when she needs to buy more food. And when the family still has to eat next week, one pay in 4 plan rarely stands alone. One pay in 4 plan almost never destroys you the first time. In week 1, Sarah buys $212 of groceries. She pays $53 today. The fridge has food. Her child has milk. Everything feels under control. In week 2, the fridge is empty again. The new cart is $180. Pay in 4 says only $45 today. But at the same time, the second payment from last week's order is also due, $53. Before Sarah even thinks about rent, gas, or the phone bill, 2 grocery orders have already taken $98 out of her week. By week 3, it is no longer one order. It is a calendar. Klarna on Tuesday, Zip on Thursday, Afterpay on Friday. Each payment is too small to panic over by itself, but together, start slicing the paycheck into thin pieces. This is the stacking trap. Your brain sees a few small payments. Your bank account sees a line of people waiting to cut your paycheck. By week 4, payday no longer feels like the day you get paid. The money hits the account and old meals pull it right back out. BNPL does not just split the bill, it splits your future ahead of time. But if we stop here, the story is too easy to misunderstand as a personal failure. The next layer hurts more. Many people do not choose this trap because it is convenient. They choose it because the other doors have already closed. At this point, it is easy to have a cold reaction. If she knows it is risky, why would she click? But that question is too clean for a life that messy. A single mother on the poverty finance subreddit described something very similar. She worked, 2 kids, used grocery pickup to avoid impulse buying, paid the bills she had to pay, and still did not have enough for groceries. She applied for SNAP benefits and got denied because her income was about $50 over the limit. Not poor enough to be helped, not rich enough to stand. Picture that for a second. A mother standing in the kitchen, looking at an empty fridge, then looking at an email from the assistance system. No drama, no music swelling. Just an adult trying to hold it together before her child asks what is for dinner. So if you have ever used Pay in 4 for groceries, that does not mean you are stupid or irresponsible. Maybe that month squeezed you too hard. And that gap is exactly where fintech walks in. A clean, friendly button that says, "It is okay, pay later." That is what makes BNPL dangerous. It does not enter your life looking like a loan. It enters like a beautiful button at checkout. A payday loan at least looks scary. A credit card has a statement, a minimum payment, and an APR. But Pay in 4 sits right under the cart, in the same colors as the app, in the same voice as checkout, as if it were just a smarter way to pay. It does not say you are borrowing money to buy groceries. It says no interest. It does not say this will cut into your next paycheck. It says 4 easy payments. Josh Roberts in Cincinnati once used a Klarna virtual card to buy painfully normal things: chicken breast, bananas, chips, and cereal. After a while, those small purchases turned into more than $1,000 of grocery debt, along with about $100 in late fees. What he said was both funny and painful. I do not want to be in debt for a carrot, but you do what you have to do. A payday loan makes you feel like you are borrowing. BNPL makes you feel like you are managing. The language is soft, the obligation is not. But if the buyer is not paying interest right in front of them, the next question is this: who is paying for this system? The real question is not, is Pay in 4 convenient? The real question is, if it looks free to Sarah, where is the money flowing? The first stream is merchant fees. Every time a shopper clicks Pay in 4, BNPL can charge the retailer around 4 to 6% of the transaction. That number sounds small for a pair of sneakers. But the grocery business lives on thin margins. A few percentage points are not spare change, they are the pressure point. So why would Walmart, Target, or Instacart want this button at checkout? Because it helps shoppers not abandon the cart. It turns, "I do not have enough money today," into, "I can still buy this today." The second stream is late fees. A $9.99 fee does not sound terrifying until the original purchase was only $80 or $120 of groceries. And the third stream is shopping direction. The same button that saves you at checkout can also guide you back to checkout again. The most unfair part is this: some of that cost may not stay with the BNPL user. It can drift into the general price of the whole grocery store. This is the twist that moves the story out of Sarah's phone and onto the grocery shelf. If BNPL charges retailers around 4 to 6% per transaction, and many grocery stores live on margins of around 1 to 3%, the payment fee can be larger than the profit the store expected to keep. So what does the store do? It usually does not show shoppers 2 milk prices. One price for people using Pay in 4, Another price for people paying with a debit card, cash, or an EBT card. On the shelf, everyone usually sees the same price. 1 gallon of milk, 1 barcode, 1 number. That is where the shadow inflation tax appears. Part of the cost of the 0% interest button may get spread into the shelf price everyone sees. It does not show up as a fee at checkout. Maybe the milk is just a little more expensive. The bread is a little more expensive. This week's cart feels a little heavier. Now imagine another mother at Walmart holding an EBT card and buying milk. She does not use Klarna. She does not use Affirm. She never clicks Pay in 4. But if the shelf price has absorbed part of the cost of that system, she may still be paying for a financial product she never chose. No interest does not mean nobody pays interest. It may just mean the cost has been hidden in everybody's price. And if the cost can be hidden in the price, what about the debt? This is the layer that is even harder to see. Debt hidden from the traditional financial picture. BNPL creates what many people call phantom debt. Not because it is not real. It is very real when your paycheck gets hit. It is very real when a payment notification pops up on a Tuesday morning. But not every BNPL obligation shows up as clearly as a credit card balance or an auto loan in the way consumers and systems see debt. Someone can look fine on a dashboard. Credit score has not collapsed. No big new loan, no giant red warning light. But underneath, they may be carrying several small pay in 4 plans across Klarna, Affirm, Zip, and Afterpay. Each one looks tiny. Together, they decide how much paycheck is left. The economy can look fine on a dashboard while individual kitchens are borrowing to fill the fridge. Let that sit for a second. And after saying that, we also have to be fair. BNPL is not always useless. Sometimes it really is a life raft. The problem begins when the life raft becomes the floor. To be fair, BNPL is not always the trap. If the washing machine breaks the week before payday, if the car needs a repair so you can still get to work, if the alternative is a high APR credit card or an even more expensive payday loan, Pay in 4 may help a family get through a hard few days. The problem is the context. A broken washing machine is an emergency. Groceries are not an emergency. Milk, eggs, diapers, and toilet paper come back every week, right on schedule. A life raft can save you in deep water. But if you have to stand on that raft every week, it is no longer a raft. It has become the floor. So the answer cannot simply be just stop using it. That sentence collapses the moment your child needs milk and your account has $8 in it. You do not need a lecture about willpower. You need a system that blocks the trap before it reaches the next paycheck. The solution is not turning Sarah into someone perfect with money. If discipline alone could buy milk, she would not have been lying in bed at 10:30 at night, looking at a $212 cart and a $60 bank balance. This is not a checklist for winning the game. These are 3 small locks on the door, so the trap has a harder time getting in. Before the first click, pull the real price back in front of you. This is a $212 grocery order, not $53 today. $212. If the full number hurts, that is a signal that the Pay in 4 button is doing its job, making the pain small enough for you to click. Then build one fence, only one active grocery plan at a time. If the old grocery order is not paid off yet, do not let the next one stack on top of it. This is not a moral rule. It is a way to stop your paycheck from being cut by 3 old meals at once. Finally, before payday, look 7 days ahead. How much will Klarna take? What day does Zip hit? Which Afterpay payment is still coming? The goal is to see the real paycheck before the apps see it. If you have to use Pay in 4 to feed your child this month, that does not make you a failure. But if it is becoming a habit, you need to see the loop before the loop sees your paycheck. And the bigger question is still sitting there. Why does a wealthy economy need fintech to help people buy milk? Go back to Sarah at 10:30 at night. She does not click Pay in 4 because she wants a bigger life. She clicks because tomorrow her child still needs milk. Because the fridge does not know how to wait for payday. Because a hungry kid does not care that their mother is trying to manage money better. That is what makes the Grocery Installment Trap so cruel. It does not begin with greed. It begins with needs too ordinary to be treated like debt. Milk, eggs, diapers, toilet paper, dinner. Some traps do not knock. They stand inside the checkout page, dressed as convenience, speaking softly. Only $53 today. When life gets tight, a small number can sound like mercy. But a gallon of milk should not come with a payment schedule. Dinner should not leave a shadow on the next paycheck. The trap was not that Sarah bought too much. The trap was that she needed debt to afford a normal life. And the next video is the invisible payday trap. Because after groceries, the next trap is not in the fridge. It is inside the paycheck. There, the app does not say you are borrowing. It says you are just accessing money you already earned. It sounds fair, until payday no longer feels like income. It only feels like a reset button for a loop that never really ends. If both your groceries and your paycheck have to pass through an app before they reach your life, how much of your paycheck is really yours?